Hi, it's Renee, and once again, thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode of Revv. And before you go any further, first of all, we want to thank you so much for all your excellent support that you've been giving to our show. And we've been receiving a whole bunch of emails from all our viewers who've been telling us on cars that they want to see. And one email which really caught our attention is by one of our viewers who's mentioned that, we've been doing a whole bunch of episodes on electrics and even hybrids. And they've been asking, Renee, could you actually tell us more about hybrid cars? Well, our producers here at the show, we listen to you. And we have such a car for you today. And here it is, the all-new Lexus NX300H Hybrid. And just in case you're wondering, what does the NX stand for? Well, it stands for Nimble Crossover. Well, the new Lexus NX is basically being offered in two variants, the Executive and the one that we have for you today, which is the Luxury. Okay, the all-new NX300 basically is brought in to compete with the likes of the BMW X3 and also the Audi Q3. So what sets this hybrid apart from any other vehicle? Well, that's the whole point. It is a hybrid, so which means it's actually mated with an electric motor as well. Well, if the NX300 looks very familiar to you, well, because it actually does, because it shares some of the parts of the Toyota Revv4, the structure and the wheelbase to be more exact, and all thing else is unique to Lexus. Okay, the NX300 was launched late last year, and its whole idea was to hit a whole new bunch of younger drivers with its really edgy and impressive looks. And being a hybrid, it's going to open up a whole new world of possibilities, especially with fuel consumption and savings on cash for you. Okay, and moving to the front of the Lexus NX300, it's a sight which is so familiar to you. It's the signature Lexus X grille. Alright, and with the NX300, we have the triple L-shaped LED headlights, and of course also the bumper lights, which illuminates your drive day or night. And powering the Lexus NX is a 2,494-litre petrol engine with 4 cylinders and 16 valves. The NX pumps out 194 bhp and generates peak torque of 210. With a CVT gearbox, the new NX300 can sprint from 0 to 100 in 9.2 seconds with a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour, with an average fuel consumption of 17.5 kilometers per litre. With a 56-litre fuel tank, CO2 emissions is 133 grams per kilometer. Okay, so now let's talk a bit more about the rear of the NX300 and also about the boot space. As with most SUVs nowadays, as you know, there's a couple of ways you can actually open up the tailgate, and in this case an electric tailgate, via the sensor which is located under the handle right here, or via the key, which gives you an option to actually press it right here and it will pop open the electric tailgate. And with the NX basically looking at a space of 475 litres, which in my opinion is pretty decent enough for luggage, maybe even a golf set, even if you're thinking of doing a bit of golf. Also, you have a handle here which reveals a false bottom where you actually have your spare tyre. And with the NX, you have the option of doing a 60-40 split of the seats to bring it down for more space. But that's not the thing. The thing is how you actually bring the seats down, which is one of the really interesting features of the NX300. You actually have a couple of switches in the front seat where the driver is, and look at that. Just by pressing those switches, it actually brings down the rear seat, which I think is a really cool option, because most of the time you actually have to do it manually, and this really saves you the trouble of coming down to the back and popping down those seats. So I think that is really one interesting feature that the NX300 has. So now you're asking yourself, how much is it going to cost you to drive the Lexus NX300H Hybrid in Singapore? Well, for the two different variants that we have for you, the Executive is going to cost you $252,000, and the Luxury, which is the one we have for you today, $264,000 inclusive of COE, and the road tax is $2,340 annually. Okay, so in conclusion, what are our thoughts on the NX300H Hybrid? Well, that's exactly the point. It is a hybrid, which means you don't always have to rely on running on fuel, but you have the added benefit of having an electric motor which helps you save costs at the fuel tanks. And besides that, well, it's an all-new, sexy-looking NX300 with a really stylish body. You have a 2.5-litre engine, and most of all, a really fantastic interior. We want to say a real big thank you to Borneo Motors Singapore for allowing us to take out the NX300H Hybrid out for a test drive. To find out more about the NX Hybrid and the rest of the cars that we have test drove, check out our website at the address above. In the meantime, we want to thank you so much for joining us right here on Revv Motoring, and until we see you again, drive safe. Hi everyone, do remember to like us and join us on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Instagram at the links below. And if you would like us to showcase a certain car model on our show, well, leave a comment below or message us on our Facebook.